the Canadian Charter, the Charter Rights and Freedoms, and we have an open mic for all the public to speak and to come up and to show your concern with what this Harper regime is doing to Canada. You know, this affects each and every one of our lives, our futures, and it's important that we speak up now. During times of universal deceit, telling the truth is a revolutionary act. And now is that time. Very important. Canadian citizens are engaged across the country. We have the Facebook group Occupy Canada. We just hit 40,000 people, and it's growing every day. When I say occupy, you say Canada. Occupy. Canada. Occupy. Canada. When I say stop, you say Harper. Stop. Harper. Stop. Harper. When I say occupy, you say Canada. Occupy. Canada. Occupy. Canada. It's time we take Canada back. Yeah, we're talking about the spying bill, Bill C-30, warrantless spying on Canadians, undemocratic. We're not giving up our privacy rights. And you know what, Vic Toes, the safety minister, came out and said you're either with us or you're with the child pornographers. You remember that? Woo! And what happened? Well, WikiLeaks was a storm across the internet. It came out that a Liberal staffer released private information on his divorce case. What was he doing?
Public information.
Yep, public information. He was cheating on his wife with a babysitter.
Public information.
Yep. Knocked up the babysitter and didn't pay child support. So do we want him looking in our files? Absolutely not. You know, we just had Stephen Harper meet with the Communist Chinese propaganda minister a week ago. Did you hear about that? In secret. It wasn't really notified to the Canadian public. It was well known by the Chinese government. But here we have streamlining of oil contracts in the West. And we just had an oil spill in Vancouver, in our natural rainforests. You know, we have to protect our environmental structures. This government put environmentalists on terrorist watch lists. They just, yeah, shame. And they cut environmental review down by, it was from 40 to 3. You know, that's the oversight there. And they are streamlining their plans to industrialize Canada. They have a disregard for the environment. They opted out of Kyoto, how do you pronounce it? Kyoto Accord, that's right. So there's tons of stuff. Sometimes it feels like it's a little overwhelming. That's right. You are right, absolutely. You know, my first ever protest was at the G20 in Toronto. That's where I live, and that was my first ever protest, going out and exercising my democratic rights. And I was kettled and I was held, detained under the Public Works Protection Act. They said, show your ID or go to jail. And that was the first time I started getting active, because I was like, you know what, this isn't what Canada should be. And it was Stephen Harper's decision to have that G20 summit in the middle of this city, in Toronto. And it was the biggest mass violations of charter rights in the history of Canada, the biggest mass arrest in Canadian history, and it falls on Prime Minister Stephen Harper. He didn't call for a public inquiry for the G20.
Shame!
Shame on Stephen Harper!
Shame!
And now we are here exercising our fundamental rights for peaceful assembly, and we have these rights and we must exercise them at all times, especially now more than ever. So free speech is such a fundamental value in an open society, and we have an open mic here. We want people to raise their voices, to speak about what you care about Canada. Yep, and take a line, and you can come up here and speak about your concerns and your ideas.